On this video, what I'll be trying to do, and it's the first time I've tried to do this, is try to show everybody, not just people that follow our philosophy or something like that, because this philosophy is for everybody. It's not a philosophy where we want to change somebody's faith or anything. No, they can maintain whatever faith they have, but just to embrace the science, just the science. So we'll be presenting this, and I'll be trying to read the Vayu Purana. And now other people that are listening may not know all these names and everything, so I'll try to make it easy for the people so they don't have to memorize names. First of all, this is actually a journey. This is a journey that every one of us have made. And every one of us are maybe prone to do it many, many, many times. So, this is a difficult subject matter because some people don't believe in what is called reappearing. You know, they don't believe in the reappearance. They do believe in the soul being eternal, but they don't believe that after death there can be a reappearance of the soul. Now that would seem a little... we don't want to change people's way of thinking and everything, but Adam and Eve went through three different disappearances and appearances. Three. First, they appeared as one, which is an incredible scientific statement in the Vedas. So, they appeared as one. Then they were partitioned. That's the second one. They weren't acting the same. The difference was that when they're one, the masculine predominates over the feminine. So the feminine isn't so much liberal. Once they're presented as two, it's natural. The woman also wants to show her potency also. So she predominates over the masculine. And any man will agree that sometimes he's overtaken by the feminine and falls under that. So it's not a new thing. And then, of course, when Adam and Eve left the garden, they also changed their body. So already we see so many instances of reincarnation, but it's difficult for the people to accept that as reincarnation. That is the science of reincarnation. And if the science of reincarnation did not exist, then the scientists would be all wrong. Because when they study the body of any human being, they see a gene, you know, the progression of a genes. And in these progressions of the genes, they've come to the conclusion that this has taken thousands of years. And how is it possible to be taken thousands of years, and they're finding it in an individual? And if they go to one individual, another individual, they're all different. And it has taken a long time. So this also shows that this gene, this DNA, all these changes that take thousands of years have been upon us in a, you know, we've traveled and we've entered something, and now these genes and everything, they are appearing on us. And the genes also can be noted in the lines of the palms of the hands, also in the lines in the feet. They're there. All types of genes are there. And they're not something that can be, you know, just in one lifetime progress like that. No, it's many, in innumerable lifetimes. So we'll just take that as a fact that we have gone through innumerable lifetimes. So now, let's see where or how we came into this existence. This is the important part. Anybody who's listening to this, able to be consciousness of what is being talked about, they come to the conclusion that, you know, this is my journey. I want to know my journey, because I may have made some mistakes in my journey, and I want to know what these mistakes were. So these journeys of the soul is what comes into the mind of any great sage, or any, you could call them saint or sages or yogis or whatever, but it comes into any one of their minds. Is, where have I been? What have I gone through? What am I doing here? So this was in a spoken by Roma Harshana. And I'll just give a location, not saying this is Indian or Hindu, but the location was in India, just above Delhi. Just above Delhi, there was a reunion of many saints and sages, and they have the same question. They want to know where did I come from, what happened to me, why am I here, and how to get out of this predicament. And what are those stages that I had to go through. So, in this Vayu Purana, it will give us an insight, because this is a question, a very prominent question in everyone's mind. They want to see what, I don't know if I can take that photo of the, okay, let's see. Okay, I'm not going to read all of this because it would take so long. But here, the title is Creation. So Rama Harshana is going to give them what was going on in the creation. And he says in the creation, everything was dark. There was no color. There was no scent. It couldn't be felt. It couldn't be touched. It couldn't be smelled. But it was, in fact, original. In the way that it didn't have a beginning, nor did it have an end. So these are the concepts. It's dark, but how did we ever get to see? Or how is this person able to note down that it was dark? It was because the persons at this point, anybody who's listening to this, are covered. So if any of us was to observe this creation in a covered state of mind, I'm using the word covered because we are not going under any transformation. There's no transformation. We are eternal, and we want to know how our tour through this universe started. And what were the main points of this? So, now he's giving the description that nothing could be seen, but that was because of being covered. That substance that was in the universe did have color, it did have scent, it did have touch, it did have smell, but we wouldn't be able to see it. When the person has the ability or becomes uncovered, then they can see it. So the person writing this or speaking, he's a realized soul. So he knows that there was plenty to see in the creation. there was plenty of form, there was plenty of smell, there was plenty, everything was there. So now, this, I'm just saying substance, it gives an appearance of being divided. So the division was originally made for, there has to be a creation, so all of us be able to see it. There has to be a maintainer to maintain it, and there has to be a personality who reconstructs, or you could say destroys. So, here we go. Now, here is stating that there was water all over the place. And in that water was a golden egg. And it was floating like a gigantic ball. Now this is one ocean. This isn't the Garbhodakshai ocean. This is the ocean before the Garbhodakshai ocean. And this is just one of the innumerable universes. He's describing now just one of the innumerable universes that have appeared. And how does it appear? Hiranya golden. So then the person who's going to be the creator was born into that egg shape. And he was called Hiranyagarbha. Hiranya meaning gold. I'm trying to not use so many Sanskrit words, but Hiranya, gold. And he takes birth into that. And it gives description here, all of them. But I'll just skip down. So now, he just presented what had happened at the beginning of the universe. So we're on a timeline here, and we have gone through the beginning of this universe. Now, this personality, who's the creator, has a day and has a night. And during his night, there is a destruction. But it's actually a remantling of the universe. It has to happen. On the timeline of the existence of this universe is the lifetime of the creator. On his timeline, the day and night, the day is the progression of the time, and the night is a destruction. And the total time is called a kalpa. So now we're getting a day and a night of the creator. Not our day and night, but the day and night of the creator. And as minor destruction happens. Now, the person, Romaharshana, is speaking this on the earth. So he knows that those that are there want to know about the earth more than anything, because they're inhabitants of the earth. So here, apparently, only the earth is affected by this nighttime destruction. And when the nighttime destruction happens, after it has already happened, then again the creation takes place. So now, Let's see if I can do something without this falling down. Yeah. Sometimes they say that these whiteboards are very useful. Yeah. Wait a minute, you know, your teacher here is a little old, and my holder's a little bit older. I think my holder's older than me. Yeah. Okay, so now we got a timeline, and he's bringing it. Romash and Sutta is bringing it to us. So we got a timeline of a creation, and then a degradation. There's going to be a degradation, and then again it comes up and another creation. This is the beginning of the day, and this is the night. Oh, excuse me. Night. Yeah, beginning of the night. Okay, now this is the timeline that we're working with, the day and the night. So what he's going to be describing in his talk will be the day and the night. Now, in scientific words, or what is known by us in science, this is 100% material energy, and this is practically 0%. Yeah, and that 0% can be translated into the decrease of material energy and the increase of entropy. Boy, I'm getting good at this. Okay, and the increase of entropy. Now, what is entropy? Entropy is another mystery that the scientists can't admit to, because they don't know what entropy is. They know the energy is gone somewhere, but they don't know where, and they don't know how. So you're just getting a glimpse of where and how. At the beginning, entropy is 0, and material nature is 100%. At the end, when the night is coming, entropy becomes almost 0, doesn't disappear, but it becomes almost 0, and material energy becomes almost 100%, because that's where it disappears. All of energy starts disappearing. So to get this line back up, and our travel keeps on going, the best point about this is our travel. This is our travel. We have traveled. We are at almost the bottom, where entropy is almost 100%. So it's very hard to find pure matter. It's very difficult. So let's go over here. Now, he gives a name of this period of time. And this period of time is called a kalpa. That period of time where there's day and then night. Okay, that's a kalpa. Now, the Earth planet, and he only takes the example of the Earth planet. From that we can see that most of the universe does not get affected, but this planet, where we are, gets mostly affected. So what happens to our planet? What happens just before the night of Brahma, just before that comes out? Then there is an increase in the sun. The sun will become 12 times hotter. And at that point, the sun practically melts everything. The whole planet becomes melted. And of course, all the living entities and everything, they're not vanishing. They are just disappearing from sight. Yeah, at that point, they're disappearing from sight. And they will take their appearance again. They are disappearing, and they will take their appearance again. So now, if you have something that has been burnt, practically melted, it would surely like to be in water. So, for different reasons, with these night and days, different things happen. But the earth goes into the water. This isn't the ocean that was talked about, where the golden egg is residing upon. That's not that ocean. This is inside that golden egg. Inside that golden egg. So now, that occurrence happened, and in this cycle, he points out, the speaker points out, in this cycle, this is called the boars cycle. Like the boar, it's an animal, a boar. So the boar appears from the Creator by his nose. The boar appears from the nose. So the potency of a pig or a boar is very, he has a sense of smelling that's incredible. A pig or a boar, they can look into the mud and find what they want just by smelling. So this is what is being presented here. Now, the earth where we are sitting on melted, and the earth went into the water, and for different reasons. Every cycle has a different reason. So it's in the water. Now somebody has to bring it back up. So this boar grabs it and puts it floating. Just by getting this description, it's not round. It has to float. The boar found the submerged earth and raised it up into its proper place by its trunks. The earth began to float on the water like a huge boat. So now, a boar, what else does a boar do? Well, even when we were on a spiritual walk, we were told by some of the farmers around the end of South Carolina that to be very careful because there were wild boars around, and the wild boars, they would if they hit us with their trunk or they bit us, we'd get rabies. They were very, and they said they're very dangerous, but they have a technique. The boar, it goes straight. So if you waited for the boar to come right up to you, just move away, and it can't stop. It keeps going straight. So the boars, what they do is they dig their tusk into the dirt, and they just plow it like mad. So also this boar, it went up and it levied all the parts of the earth. Everything that existed earlier had now been levied out, and this is wonderful because what's happening is it's becoming reproductive. It's recycling the whole earth. This is actually an amazing part. Even where the mountains that existed Now they were all levied out. And once again the mountains were produced. Yes, as his tusk leveled the mountains, new mountains then were formed. So it's such a beautiful statements, all these things. So now, here we are. Keep going, because this is your travel. We haven't come into the thing. Okay, now that the earth was floating, now that it was in its a good position, what do we have? We don't have trees. We don't have anything else. No. How can something live on this? You know? Again, it's stating here that the Creator, He had water, fire, air, ether, and all these things, and trees and mountains. But these are on a time. This is on a timeline. They don't appear right away. So let's see what was the position of all the living entities on this earth, with the ground all torn up and rejuvenated, and what was our feeling? Because we've gone through this. Don't think you haven't gone through this. You've gone through. What was our feeling? Okay? And it states here that trees at first were not needed. The sun rays, I'm hoping people are paying attention, the sun rays, now all we're having, we're not having any trees, no shrubs, no this, no that, no language, no this. Okay, now the sun rays took nourish, and all the nourishment that the humans needed, the sun rays had. So what is the difference between our sun rays now and the sun rays of then? There was no evil. No evil had appeared yet. We have been given this chance. We have gone through this. So we've gone through this period of time where there was no evil. So this evil, what was the prime motivator of evil to ever even appear? And was it Satan? Was it some Rakshasas? What was it? Evil began when the thoughts of I and mine came. That is the origin. That's the original action that propagates evil. He also, at this time, created the night and day. Through his powers, he created some suns also. Now let's go down. This would take so long to do. Okay. And they even give timelines here. Now that a kalpa, remember, kalpa is a day and night of the Creator. And each day and night of the Creator has 14 other people who are under him. You can say they're the manvantars. So now he's set up a administrative people. The manvantars are going to be in charge. So in a day of Brahma, Kalpa, 14 manvantars, or administrators, appear. And each one of those manvantars have 70 71 Mahayugas. Now, don't let me lose you, please. And that 71 is equal to 12,000 celestial years. You would just be amazed on how long a celestial, I just pointed it, you can do the calculations yourself. 1 day of a celestial year is equal to 6 months of our earthly years. This is the years, this is time schedule of the universe. So then there's 4 divisions here. The longest division is the division at the beginning where there is so little evil. That is 4,000. Of the 12,000 years of the whole cycle, 4,000 of those years are the very little appearance of evil. Can you imagine? So in this time, where was the food? Where was the fruits? Where is this coming from? It was coming from the sun. The sun was able to nourish everyone. So if I'm being nourished by the sun, I'm not having to urinate. I'm not having to go to the toilet. These things are not happening to me. Try to get a picture of what evil has done. The increase of evil has wreaked havoc. And it's just the evil of I and mine. How I identify myself and what I think is mine. And you know that creates wars. So now the first of these, of the 12,000 years, the first was 4,000 years, and that was a wonderful time. Now, that's 4,000 years, celestial years. So it's difficult, but try to understand the timeline of how long it has been. How long have we had a really great time here on this earth, and when did the degradation get worse and worse? So then the next phase of the four phases is 3,000 years. And the next stage, 2,000 years. And the next stage, 1,000 years. Now if you add up all the 4, 3, 2, and 1, you come out with 10,000. So to complete the 4,000 years, from one of these changes to the next, there's a intermediate stage, sometimes called a sandhya.